And now, it's the 2K Online Franchise Sports Report with your host Marcus Reed and Ava Turner.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive here on the 2K Online Franchise Radio Network. We are just 2 days away from Super Bowl XXX this Friday night, live from the Caesars Superdome down in New Orleans. What a matchup we have in store. The Houston Texans taking on the San Francisco 49ers.
And I am so excited for this one. We could talk all day about the Canucks' and O's, the stats, the matchups, but I think what really makes the Super Bowl so compelling are the storylines.
Absolutely. We've got a team in the Texans that's looking for redemption, going all the way back to season 3, that undefeated season that ended with a crushing Super Bowl loss. And now they're back with a chance to finally get over the hump.
You almost have to feel for the Texans after that season 3 heartbreak. To come so close, to dominate the regular season the way they did, only to fall short in the big game, that's got to sting.
Yeah, I can't imagine the pressure they're feeling. But on the other side, you've got the defending champs, the 49ers, a team that's already established itself as a dynasty. And they're looking to cement their legacy with another Super Bowl victory.
Back-to-back titles, 6 Super Bowl appearances in franchise history. That's rarefied air.
No doubt about it. So we've got a team hungry for redemption versus a team on the verge of legendary status. This is shaping up to be one for the ages.
Now, before we go any further, we should probably address the elephant in the room.
Oh, now what's that?
The coaching matchup.
Ah, yes. We've got Sean Nguyen on the Texans sideline, a 6-time Super Bowl champion, though all of those wins came with the Patriots.
A brilliant coach, no question about it.
And on the other side, Jarin, 2 Super Bowl rings to his name.
And you know what's crazy?
What's that?
He was the coach who led the Giants to that upset win over the Texans back in season 3.
Wait a minute, are you serious? So not only are the Texans trying to avenge that season 3 loss, but their coach is too.
Yep, talk about a twist of fate.
That is unbelievable. I did not realize that. So the Texans are looking for redemption. Nguyen's looking for redemption, and they have to go through the defending champs to do it.
This is why we love the Super Bowl, the drama, the history, the storylines.
It's all here. Yeah. Now let's get down to brass tacks. Let's start by breaking down these two teams and what makes them tick. First up, the Houston Texans. Their offense has been an absolute juggernaut this season, averaging a league-leading 37.1 points per game, good for 2nd overall in the league, and it all starts with their quarterback, C.J. Stroud.
I was a bit skeptical of Stroud coming into the season, but he has exceeded all expectations. The poise, the accuracy, the arm strength, he's got it all.
And he's got a pretty special weapon in the backfield, too, Ty Chandler.
Yes, the human highlight reel. I'm not sure I've ever seen a player who can run with both power and finesse like Chandler.
He's averaging 123 rushing yards per game in the playoffs, plus another 91 receiving yards.
You just can't teach that kind of versatility. He's a nightmare for opposing defense.
Oh, you're telling me. And then you add in a clutch cooker like Kaimi Fairbairn. Remember that game-winning 52-yarder he nailed to send them to the Super Bowl?
Ice in his veins. That's all I can say.
So the Texans, they can score in bunches, and they've got a knack for coming up big in the clutch.
They're going to be a tough out for anyone.
But on the flip side, you've got the San Francisco 49ers. And as we all know, defense wins championships.
Especially in the Super Bowl.
And the 49ers defense has been suffocating this year, only giving up 25.4 points per game.
Ranked 8th in the league.
With playmakers like Bosa and Warner leading the charge.
Those guys are game wreckers.
All right. So we've got the Texans' high-powered offense against the 49ers' stifling defense. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
I can't wait to see who wins this battle.
Me neither. But let's not forget, the 49ers also have a very capable offense led by quarterback Brock Purdy, who's been incredibly efficient this postseason. 0 interceptions in the playoffs.
He's not flashy, but he doesn't make mistakes. And that's what you need in a quarterback, especially in the Super Bowl.
And then you've got weapons like Christian McCaffrey, one of the most dynamic running backs in the league, and George Kittle, a tight end who can stretch the field.
Yeah.
And create matchup problems for any defense.
They've got a balanced attack, and Purdy does a great job of spreading the ball around.
It's going to be fascinating to see how the Texans' defense tries to contain all of those weapons.
No doubt.
So we've got 2 incredibly talented teams, 2 brilliant coaches, and a whole lot of history on the line.
Buckle up, folks. This is going to be one heck of a ride.
Now we need to dive a little deeper into this matchup, break down some of the key factors that could decide the game, and of course, we'll make our predictions on who we think will be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy on Friday night. But first, we need to take a quick break. We'll We'll be right back after these messages.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2.
All right, so, we were just talking about how good the Texans' offense is. But I think it's important to remember, they're not invincible. Back in Season 3, when they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl, the Giants were able to slow them down by really disrupting their rhythm.
You're right. They forced the Texans to play a style that they weren't comfortable with. Lots of short passes, not a lot of deep shots.
Exactly. And you know who was coaching the Giants in that game?
Jeffrey Jarin?
That's right, the same Jeffrey Jarin who's now coaching the 49ers.
So could history repeat itself? Could Jarin use that same game plan, that same strategy, to shut down the Texans' offense once again?
It's definitely possible. The 49ers have the personnel to do it. They've got a ferocious pass rush led by Bosa and Warner.
Right.
And they've got a secondary that can lock down receivers.
And if they can force Stroud into making quick decisions, maybe even force him into some mistakes, it could be a long night for the Texans.
Exactly. Turnovers are going to be huge in this game. If the 49ers can win the turnover battle, I think they've got a great shot at winning the game.
Now, on the other side of the ball, we have to talk about the 49ers offense, which has been a bit overshadowed by their dominant defense.
You're right. They don't get as much attention, but they're a very balanced and efficient unit.
Yeah. And they're led by Brock Purdy, who's been a revelation this season.
Purdy's just a winner. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the fastest runner, but he's got this intangible quality, this ability to make plays when it matters most.
Yeah. And he's got a great supporting cast around him. You've got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, one of the most versatile running backs in the league.
He can do it all. Run, catch, block. He's a threat to score every time he touches the ball.
And then you've got George Kittle at tight end, who's a matchup nightmare for any defense. He's too big for defensive backs to cover, and he's too fast for linebackers to keep up with.
And Purdy loves to find him in the red zone.
So the 49ers offense, maybe they're not as flashy as the Texans, but they're just as dangerous.
They're patient, they're methodical, and they're very good at executing their game plan.
And you know what else is interesting about this matchup? Is the Texans' success on fourth down conversions.
Oh, yeah. They're ranked 5th in the league with a 73.7% success rate.
So you have to wonder, will Nguyen be aggressive? Will he roll the dice on fourth down, especially in a big game like this?
I think it's definitely a possibility. Nguyen is a gambler. He's not afraid to take risks.
And if those risks pay off, it could give the Texans a huge advantage.
Momentum is everything in the Super Bowl.
So we've got a lot of intriguing factors at play here. The Texans' explosive offense, the 49ers' stifling defense, the coaching battle between Nguyen and Jarin, the fourth down factor. This game is shaping up to be an absolute classic.
You said it. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
All right, so we've broken down the matchups, analyzed the stats, and uncovered some fascinating coaching history. But now it's time for the moment of truth. It's prediction time. Who do you have winning Super Bowl 30?
Oh, man. This is the part I always struggle with. There are so many factors to consider, so many variables. It's like trying to predict the weather.
I hear you, but that's also what makes it so fun, right? The unpredictability, the anything-can-happen nature of the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's start with the Texans. If they want to win this game, they need to play to their strengths, which means scoring points, a lot of points.
So shootout favors the Texans.
I think so. They have the offensive firepower to put up a big number, but their defense is going to have to step up too. They can't let Purdy and the 49ers offense control the clock.
That's a good point. Yeah. Time of possession is going to be a key stat in this game.
Absolutely.
All right, so what about the 49ers? What's their path to victory?
Well, for the 49ers, it's all about defense. They need to shut down the Texans' running game. Force Stroud to beat them with his arm.
Which is easier said than done. Stroud's been playing at an MVP level all season.
No doubt. But if they can rattle him, maybe force him into some bad throws, they've got a chance.
And, of course, they have their own offensive weapons. McCaffrey, Kittle.
Yep. They need to get those guys going early, establish the run, and keep the Texans' defense on their heels.
So basically, the Texans need to win a shootout, and the 49ers need to control the game and grind out a victory.
Pretty much.
Well said. All right, so after all that analysis, after all that back and forth, who do you have winning Super Bowl 30?
You know, I'm going to go with my gut on this one. And my gut says the 49ers. I think their defense is just too good. And I think Jarin will have a great game plan to slow down the Texans' offense.
That's a fair prediction.
Yeah.
I'm actually leaning towards the Texans. I think they're on a mission this year.
Yeah.
And I think Stroud is going to have a monster game.
Hey, anything is possible. That's why they play the game.
Well said. Well, folks, there you have it. Our predictions for Super Bowl 30. Be sure to tune in this Friday night for what promises to be an epic showdown between two of the best teams in the 2K Online franchise. Thanks for joining us here on The Deep Dive. And as always, keep it locked right here on the 2K Online Franchise Radio Network.